You look like you look
it.
like the Busta Rhymes video when the head got big. If you really want to party with me,
Mm.
I don't know.
Hey,
Yikes! I was flowing with you until that.
That's what he does because he got. I don't know what's
Put all
going
your
on.
hands where my eyes can see.
Straight but violent in the place to be.
Proper posture, man. Proper posture.
That's lunch.
Jesus, this guy. I swear.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host Earl, Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you guys know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. And make sure you guys listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcast shows. And subscribe to their YouTube channel, man, at the Hot Seed Podcast if you happen to, want to watch the guys and see how we've evolved over these years, gray hairs and all. And Dave in that nice ass chair. We back again, man, for another week.
The chair that he bought his son and don't seem like son got it.
Hey, hold that shit down, bro. The hate is real within you, bro.
It is. It really is. It really is, man. We back again, folks. Episode 136. Man, we're growing, week by week, and we just gonna pray beforehand. I spent a couple of hours today cleaning up the studio space here, routing cables and whatnot, and brung back the laptop that I restored. Because prior to this, I was actually using my iPad and everything else, but with Apple, unless you have a MacBook, which I could have probably bought a MacBook, but the iPad was just more mobile to me, and I think I just liked it because you can't use external cameras. So, now I had a bunch of equipment over here that I wasn't using. So I'm like, all right, I'm back using, my laptop, which is kind of, it does what it does very well, and added the camera to it. And there will be additional cameras coming shortly because I ain't spent all this money to build a studio to have this one shot. But that being the case, hopefully everything comes through nice and less glitchy than it was last week. I do apologize. Audio sound great, but I saw we were doing the stutter step last week, so that might have just been a network thing because it was like 9 feet of snow up here in goddamn Maryland, and I don't know what was happening.
That part of Maryland.
Yeah, this part. Yeah, up in where I'm at. Now it's nothing out there. It's raining. It's freaking raining. It's 60 degrees.
That is correct.
Global warming is a thing, folks. Like tomorrow.
You're on mute, Earl.
Yeah, we're supposed to hit the record for January 26th. Tomorrow.
I'm actually happy that it's global warming is taking effect because this ice is gone and this motherfucking snow is gone. So I'm okay with it.
Not I'm happy that it's warmer weather. I'm happy that global warming is taking effect.
But I'm sorry.
But I ain't too happy though because I ain't got the money to get on them goddamn shuttles to take us to Mars and the moon. Like unless they got goddamn Klarna or goddamn Afterpay, I'm fucked. Because I can't get on that thing with them. Like I got a little bit I can put on it, but I can work like the baggage or something. But the world is falling apart, bro. They got landslides still happening in California. It's oh man, it's scary, man. It really is. Like I know we go out, we watch. I like watching these National Geographic shows, and actually I watched this one documentary. They were talking about like super volcanoes, and I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but it's rather intriguing.
Nope.
They talked about Yellowstone. If you guys ever watched that, Yellowstone Park, that being the largest non-active / partially active volcano in the world, and if it was to erupt, y'all remember that scene in what is it? It's not The Day After Tomorrow. It's oh man, they have so many of these world-ending shows. It's the one that had Woody Harrelson was the particular character, and he was standing at the top of the mountain, and like you saw Yellowstone like explode. It's one of those typical ones where they had to get to like what his bunker was, or something like that. But I'm watching the documentary on this, and they were like, "Man, this super volcano, if it was the erupt, let's go ahead and just call it, just go ahead and call it what it is, bro. Do whatever deeds you need to do." And so, and you just look at how the world is kind of operating now. In our lifetime, maybe not, but I feel sorry for our grandkids, bro.
Mm, 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 mm.
That's all you got.
Yeah, you see how early.
It was like, well,
I mean, we knew we'd be at that spot, man. Shoot,
right.
forget about no different things happening as far as natural disasters in the world. I mean, just look at the world.
Yeah.
Look
Right.
at just different things that are just going on. I mean, hell, every single second you see. I don't know what they be trying to call it on the news, but there's a mini war or a little war. Nothing's little. Like nothing's
Right.
many. People are dying on a daily basis. Certain decisions that are being made that, it's life and death. But
Yeah.
we click through the news and jump to the sports and reality show, and that's about it until it affects us. So
Yeah.
that's the world
So much for
in a
Earth Day.
nutshell.
Shit, back in the day when we was in school, but now it's like, yeah.
Mm,
It's interesting off of our discussion last week, and when you were talking about like the decline in like the electric cars and the stock going down and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not. I was looking. I find myself looking at vehicles this week, and I'm driving the Mini, and I love my Mini. I love my Mini. But at the same time, my body don't love the Mini. It's like the low profile of it.
Oh, does it have enough space? That you said it had space last time.
No. It's not that. It's I think the constant shifting everything. It's just the positioning of me. Like my back and spine is like, look, bro, you can't do this all the time. Like this is serious. Like this ain't even like a comedy thing. Like I'm having to re evaluate
Evaluate.
my yeah, I'm having to do. Even the missus was like, if you want to go buy something else, I don't want a sedan because it's heavy for me to drive. So I'm looking at, you know, the old, like the grown man sedans type, but so we'll look and see. And I'm looking at, electric cars. I'm like, nah, I want to go that route on the strength of what we were talking about last week. Them zero below.
That's scary.
Elon Musk just announced
Nope.
something about the market and stuff, and
Yeah, I'm good.
I think the market took about an $82 billion bite out of his company.
I'm good. I looked at
82 billion.
Yeah, I'm good. The two brands I looked at, and I have to decide. Two brands I looked at was BMW 5 Series and then Mercedes E-Class.
Oh, so you
1 and 2.
fancy, huh? You fancy, huh?
So
Fancy, huh?
but it's just one. Hell, I was even looking at Lincolns, bro. I was even looking at Lincolns.
Don't try to bring it back down there.
Yeah, but just to be comfortable, man. Like it hurts some days. I get out the car, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna hit. I'm still keeping it, but it's just not every day.
Looking at Genesis, I was looking at Maybachs.
Yo, let me tell you something about a Maybach, bro. So we're driving through. Actually, we were coming a week or two ago. I'm driving the ladies for the missus there, aka Sisters Weekend, and we're driving down 301, and we go to stop. I go stop for gas because we had one of those big Ford Transit vehicles, and a guy. He's
I
a
just
Maybach.
realized y'all were around my way, but go ahead though.
Right, Maybach. He pulled right behind me, and this I love our people. Maybach. Well, you know what he pulled up to? The Popeye's chicken. It warmed my heart, bro. It warmed my heart to see it in the joint, man. Brand new off the lot, fresh tags, everything. I was like, wow, that'll be bad, So driving to Maryland.
You saying that Maybach got some chicken grease in it?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Anyway.
Still got grease on the steering wheel.
how was y'all week, man? Since I seen you, how was y'all week, bro?
Girl. Oh, for me? Oh, I mean, my week pretty much consists of a lot of work going on. I can make an official announcement now, signing off on the paperwork now. So this year I will be presenting the story group underneath the umbrella of the brokerage of Exit Community Realty. There'll be a lot of things underneath the story group, not just regular real estate things. It will be the parent company signing off on the LLC as we speak. So a lot of things happening. Got a business venture going on out in Vegas. Got another business venture that I'm looking into right now that I told y'all about on the investment side that I'm working with a couple of people. So some of those things will be popping going into the springtime. So once these things get rolling, that's it. All we're doing is looking up. So
I love it.
What's up? What's up, dog?
So what you're saying is me and Earl gonna have to find a third person for the podcast, is what you're saying?
Nah, man, my laptop works right here. You see what I'm saying? Once again, shout out to Samsung, team. Who that? Oh, is that Michigan? Is that? Oh, go ahead. But yeah, you can reach me on there. I can have a conversation. Shoot, today I sat back and went into the office, surprisingly, and I'm up in there doing my thing at the office, and all of a sudden I get a phone call. Hey, the neighbors have some fence people over, so I invited them over here. Next thing I know, I'm signing up for a fence to go in the backyard. Yep, that's how my life works.
Gotta love it. Got to love it.
I'm doing things through a call on the phone, talking about yeah. So we can run it right here. Yep. Yeah. Welcome to my life.
I love it. How about you, Earl? How's your week, man? I know, how close are we to being calling you Doctor Earl? I'm ready for that, bro. Like, we gonna continue this podcast until we get to the point where we can call you Dr. Earl.
I'm gonna stop it right before then.
2025.
We gonna move it. Hey,
I mean, a good thing.
Be a whole situation where we do that.
Yeah, 2025, man. Good thing is, we just started school. I had like a little 3 weeks off. I was happy about that. So just started back like 2 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. So getting back in the groove of that, finishing up with my coursework. I think I'll be finished up with my coursework around the summertime, and then I'll be moving into like my capstone. So
gotcha.
It'll take forever. But hey, I'm getting there. It's just been a long ass work week. A long work week. I just have to say it like that. I'm just glad tomorrow is Friday.
Nah, I'm with you. I am with you, man. It was an interesting week, man. Like last time I met you guys on the pod, for everybody watching and listening, I told you guys about the passing of my mom, and that this past Saturday. So timestamp, it's January 25th. We buried her last Saturday. Today's Thursday. So this past Saturday we buried my mom. Her homegoing service was good, man. It was pretty dope. It's one of those times where my brother said, my middle brother always says a lot, man. We always get together when, we need to get together more when, we're having weddings and stuff like that.
Good times.
And of course, we got together in the church that we grew up in, Galilee Baptist Church. And it was a great homegoing service. And the amount, looking at the procession, was telling to how many people that my mom, Miss Portia, as many people call her, touched. It was a lot. It's a lot of us. Mother Nature ain't hold up though. Like it was we was out there at the interment, and man, that wind was cutting, and it was cold. It was cold. But we back at the church, man, and just everybody that saw us, me and my three brothers together. So it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. She got laid to rest. They did it right. She looked like herself, because I ain't gonna even lie. I've been to several funerals in my lifetime, and I've looked at the person, they sit in the coffin, and I'm like, why they do that baby like this? Because I'm like, what? She looked like herself. Like, and they ain't add no extraness to it, which I'm glad they didn't. It's all natural. It was pretty cool. So, appreciate everybody who reached out, especially everybody who watched the or listened to the pod last week. I had a lot of calls and stuff come in like over the last few days just from them off the strength of them listening to the pod. So it was pretty dope. But it was a pretty good time, man. Pretty good time, to say the least. So yeah, man, it's the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Episode 136. We just gonna get right into it, man. But first, before we do that, wait. So I don't know how you transition from that. We're just going to our first topic tonight. So our show started around our Xbox Live conversation, and interesting enough, today, if you guys seen, Microsoft, their video game division laid off roughly 1,900 people. They laying off here, and it was something that you can actually almost see coming, man. To be perfectly honest, it was between like the cost of living and like really right now the video game world really being something that is kind of like, it's not dying off, but everybody tapped into it isn't as locked in as they were during the pandemic. And when you go and read the story, so you're actually looking at it. So after they acquired, Activision, just a few months ago for that almost $70 billion, you would think, the last thing you do is lay off folks. But that's what happens. They have acquired a lot of the video game developing studios and such, but I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this. And I'll say this, there has been a lot of trepidation around the fact that video games have become not as intriguing as they were during COVID, pre-COVID in that case, man. So I just want to get you guys' take, man, on where we going next as far as, this whole video game aspect of you guys think
I
about this
think
going to layoff, to be honest, man.
I don't know. I mean, I just think as technology evolves, you just you don't need as much, humans, and things in that nature to make, these different devices. But I think games are kind of headed towards like that VR type of that, I don't know. I think in that direction. I don't know if it does. I don't know how. I think I'd be in Sean's boat because I have a VR and I can only wear that for like maybe 15 minutes, and then I start getting a headache and getting dizzy and stuff like that. So but I feel like it's heading into that. And if you ever had or if you ever use one of those VRs, you literally feel like you can reach out and touch. Like it's crazy. But that's what I think the direction. But I feel like that's in a lot of different industries, man.
I was just about to say that. So good segue to where I was going. I think it's the same problem that we have with TV shows, movies, things like that. I just really think that we don't have too much imagination that goes on anymore.
That's
I'll give you an example. I love the fact that my son plays with certain characters and stuff that I dealt with as a kid because it's an easy bond.
Right.
But when every single game is still Mario, when every single game is still Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm like, damn, y'all really don't have original characters.
There's no original content, man.
Who's your people? And if I go up there, that's more than half his games.
Yep.
He has like 3 Sonic games. He has like 4 Mario games, you know, and I'm sitting back and I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like, wow, they really haven't reinvented the wheel. And that's the same thing that even when we go to TV, when we go to movies, think about some of the biggest, even music. Think about the biggest things that are out there. And then you go, oh yeah, they revamped so-and-so. Oh, they redid this show. Oh, they brought this movie back.
But
like,
that's good that you. That's my bad. That's good that you said that though, because I guess the question I would say, and you talked about creativity. Who and what is sparking creativity now? Because even within schools, it's like it's not an avenue for you to think outside the box. You know, like it's like that's not promoted. You know, you understand what I'm saying? And it's not, and something like that almost is kind of like, I don't want to say it could be taught. It needs to be pushed.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. You know,
but change is caused by society.
Right.
You know, it's not even a jump, but you know, I know we'll get into certain things of Marvel and stuff, but that's why Marvel had to push the brakes on things, because they saw that we weren't responding anymore to people flooding the theaters for jump, if we're being honest. So then they were like, oh, you know what? Let's pump the brakes. Let's not put out all of this quantity. Let's put out quality. Let's slow it down. And that's what you got to do. I'm fine with them revamping the old movie, but if that is 75% of what you're doing, I'm like, there's no originality here. And they think we're always going to fall for it. And that's why, like, even what you were leading to in the games, Sean, the replayability is not even there.
Exactly.
Think about the games we play. Madden, 2K, Call of Duty. You know, there may be a couple other games that are in there, but we know our main ones. And we know there's a replayability factor there because you're changing rosters, you're going year to year, especially when college football comes out. You'll be able to draft in that. Like, that's the replayability. But when you go into some of these other games, you beat the game and that joint's over.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
It is, man. Like, looking at that whole story, man, this follows a bunch of other cuts. So they had Riot Games, which they laid off about 11% of their global workforce, 1,800 job losses at engine maker Unity, and 500 layoffs at Amazon-owned streaming platform Twitch. And then, since we're talking about Amazon, if you guys, for everybody who tuned in to shows on the AMP platform, which one I hosted Over the Hump on AMP, you know, they shuttered those doors earlier this summer because, you know, the tech space, we're back. We knew this was coming, you know, once everything opened back up in the world post-COVID. You know, hell, if you remember during COVID, things like you couldn't even find a Nintendo. Hell, you couldn't even find none of the gaming consoles at all. You couldn't find anything for that. And for better or for worse, this is where the podcast aspect blew up because everybody was at home. They were creating content, and there's been an influx of it. So much so now that there is some good stuff and not so good stuff. And now it's kind of tapering off because people are picking and choosing their particular things. We shout, you know, thank you everybody who still types in with the Hot Seat podcast. But at the same time, you know, it's all about numbers at the end of the day. You know, hell, look at, you know, you're not even buying video game disc like talking about it anymore. So GameStop, how they're still in business is still crazy. And so all them shuttering these doors and the games that are coming out. And then on top of that, you've gotten some games that have come out where you know, the hype and like what was it? Redfall, I think that's the name of the game, Dave. They got like one of the lowest like receptions ever. And then the most recent game we talked about last episode, like the quality has been going down. So they're like, hey, look, hey, bro, we spending all this money on, you know, all this new tech, and y'all are putting out half-ass material. Let's go ahead and cut. You know, ain't nobody getting cut at the top. There's everybody on the, you know, workforce going. So that's kind of like where it is right now.
You know, people are sitting back. We're waiting for games like a Grand Theft because you can play it forever. It's an experience.
Right.
And everybody gets something different out of that experience. Everybody does different missions, goes different. There's so many things you can do on it.
Exactly.
But like I said, some of these games are just so straight across the board. It may even be a good game, but once you beat it,
It's the thrill is gone.
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
it.
And
That's it.
so where this, I mean,
And the pricing games are going up, and I ain't spending 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 to sit back and play these games. And then if you are able to trade it in, get $6. No.
yeah, barely that.
It's not it.
Barely that. I don't know where they're gonna go next, man. I know a lot of people hooping and hollering about this, but at the end of the day, it's happening, like you said, it's happening across all of the the job sector. And to Earl's point, where they can replace humans with some tech. I mean, you saw Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to tell you. Well, John Connor tried to tell you, and we still out here trying to feel like we, bulletproof. It's gonna happen. It is going to happen at some point, and there's all you can do really is just conform, man. That's all you can do. So the big game is only a few weeks away. Your guest list is getting bigger and bigger, and there's simply no time to go to the store. That's where Instacart comes in, North America's largest online grocery marketplace. From your favorite food needs, alcohol, office supplies, and more, Instacart will connect you with a personal shopper in your local area to shop and deliver your order and stay safe with their contactless delivery with their Leave at My Door option. To receive a free delivery on your first order over $35, just follow the link in the show notes to let them know the Hot Seed podcast sent you. Instacart, so you don't have to go to the store. Some big games coming up this weekend, to say the least. AFC Championship games. I'm pretty sure Earl got some the Chavos on this, coming up.
I can't wait. I wish they'd have broke it up. Kind of mad that I gotta wait till Sunday, but it's all good.
Yeah, true.
Good.
Let's talk about some other sports though, man. Before we get into that, there was a comment that was made by a certain NBA baller over the last week or so, and this conversation is always one that gets people into their feelings, and it's the NBA GOAT conversation. And the NBA baller that I was talking about was one Kevin Durant, and his response to a question in regard to that was loosely quoted was say that he stated,
he don't.
What haven't I done? What haven't I done? Why shouldn't he be included in that GOAT conversation? And you heard the responses from the Stephen A's and everybody alike. Even you go on social media, they were burning him up. So I don't know if it's more about the GOAT aspect or where does Kevin Durant sit in this conversation of greatest NBA players?
I'm gonna let y'all go first because this is gonna sound ignorant. So
go ahead, Earl.
Where can I start? Can I say that at some point, let me say this. I don't think I could ever say that at any juncture in his career, for me, that I was ever thinking that he would ever be in a GOAT status. Absolutely not. It just, when I'm comparing him to people who I put in the GOAT status, which it's only one person. You know what I'm saying? But when I compare him to that person, there's no comparison. He don't play defense. You know what I'm saying? Or let me not say that.
He used to.
He used to, but he ain't elite on both sides of the ball. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I think now, if you put him down as, is he one of the greatest scorers? Absolutely. I think he's one of the greatest scorers out there. You know what I'm saying? That he's, in my opinion, he's top 10. for greatest scores. But is he in the GOAT conversation? No, absolutely not. He doesn't compare to Michael Jordan. He don't compare to Kobe. He don't even compare to LeBron James to me. He don't compare to Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? So if I could put other people in the GOAT conversation, he definitely wouldn't be in my top 5 or top 10. Respectfully.
Yeah,
I'll let you go.
I'll
let you go, Sean.
Man, look, it's I've never been for the whole GOAT conversation because I think I'm with you guys. In my, that GOAT thing, that greatest of all time in basketball. And I know there's people who came before him, there's people who come behind him. But that
it's Michael, so I just gotta,
it's held to Michael, man. But unfortunately, we've become so stat driven that everyone feels like they can take a claim to that title.
Mm-hmm.
And they figure, I got the stats to do it. We're quick to coin anybody that GOAT aspect. I don't think we need to go back to why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I don't know why, it's not even about the championship aspect. It's just about everything in its totality. For Kevin Durant to even be mentioned in that is sacrilegious in itself. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. Yes, he has 2 championships that he got with Golden State. And yes, at the time, he was playing like the best player on that team. I mean, shit, he's 7 feet, 3-point range is crazy. He was doing this thing. Yes, he had Steph and Clay. The team is wild. If you're comparing the two alone, if you can compare the talent levels and the impact that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson had compared to the impact that Scottie Pippen and probably the next best person, Dennis Rodman, had doing that, it's 2 different things. It's 2 different things, which means, there's no flu game for Kevin Durant. There's no, it's some other game. I don't know what I forget what other games they coined as those Michael Jordan games. All in all, he should not be even interested, not even be close to be a GOAT in this case. Like,
Bro,
none of
tag
that.
in.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, because go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
Mr. Durant. But I can call you Kevin. We know why. So, Kevin. The fact that you even brought this up just lets me realize how phony you are in your own thought process. So, first off, let me just make this statement. We use GOAT too easily.
Too liberally.
The same way I've always had the conversation about how people make Hall of Fames in different sports.
Right.
But I'm going to push that to the side for a moment. Let me answer his question directly, because the question he put out there was the fact that of what haven't I done? So let's go over it.
Yeah.
To be in the GOAT conversation, let me see if y'all agree. No, I don't have to count rings or championships, but I do believe winning has to follow you no matter where you go.
Absolutely.
Mr. Durant, what happened in OKC? Were you the GOAT then? I think not. You went to a team that you couldn't beat with that team. So then you went to a team that won before you got there and won after you left.
That hurt.
Does that consider you a GOAT? I think not. You willingly leave that team to go to a team that you helped put together, I believe, with the Nets.
Yep.
And did winning follow you there? I think not.
Perfect.
Now you're with the Suns, and even though you got 2 other all-star players playing with you, and yes, y'all are putting up numbers, you still don't scare the league in a way of, you know what? Oh, they coming. Nah, bro. It's just, okay, they're a talented team, but let's just get to that bench. That's the story of your career. The story of your career is that you're a great scorer. You used to be a two-way player before your injury. I do remember when you played on both sides. We know you for more crying off the court than even playing nowadays, if we're being factual. Remember, you're the same person that made a fake account just to respond to people. That's GOAT status. I told you my part was going to be ignorant, so I'm sorry. I don't see it, and I don't think anybody's fearful of him. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody like, oh my God, we're about to go up against Kevin Durant and the Suns or whatever team you want to throw him on. You know, it doesn't go in that fashion.
Right.
People were scared of the Warriors before he got there, so he didn't add that. It was just like, oh, they're stacked. That's it. That's it. Yes, you added something to the team, but they were already a great team before you and after you. So when you ask that question that you should have never asked, this is one of those things that you should have just kept quiet in your own mind in the own corner of your own room. But you wanted to come out and say it, so then let people answer you. What have you done? All the things that I just listed. You are a great scorer. You are a great player. But how are you going to call yourself and want to be within the GOAT conversation? And here's my realest comment to you. When you're not even the GOAT of your time.
Facts.
You're not even the GOAT of your time. See, when we have that whole LeBron and Michael thing, and even though, you know, all of us on here are diehard Michael, I can understand certain people fighting for LeBron. Even though I'm diehard Michael, I can understand, especially for people that's only seen LeBron and wasn't around for Jordan, I can completely understand that is the GOAT of your time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like older folks will tell us about, say, Wilt and people like that. I understand. But don't come to me about, I don't see anybody ever going, man, Kevin Durant, shoo, he was the GOAT. You're not the GOAT of your time. And we're supposed to have a conversation with you about GOAT of all time? You're not in that conversation. You're not in, even if you win with the Suns right now, you're not in that conversation. I don't know how y'all feel, but that's period with me. That's out the door. You know, LeBron didn't win in Cleveland. He went down to Miami, where I said that was kind of his college time period to me. He grew up. Wade helped him there. He taught him how to have a championship mind. He won his championships down there. The biggest thing to me was he went back to Cleveland, where he didn't win, won that championship, went over to LA. No matter how you want to see that year of winning, he won that one within the bubble. You know, he can win another one. And I can see why, mentality-wise, how it's switching. I'm like, okay, we can have that conversation. I'm still going to vouch for Jordan 100%, but we can have that conversation. I won't look at you like you're completely crazy. You bring up Kevin Durant to me, I'm like,
it was no, you're right. Like there is no, and you're right. There is no wow factor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about his game. I felt like the biggest wow was the fact that he was a 7-footer that can just shoot and that made
him the rock and everything.
And you're right, and that made him an anomaly in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it made him unfair. But if you just talk about like just take away from his career, there was nothing that he did, and just in my opinion, that was just like wow. His championship, he joined the super team who didn't need him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking nothing away. Like, did he help contribute?
Great.
Did he help contribute to that team? Absolutely. But you was on a team with the greatest shooter and Clay, who was in his prime, like before the injury. Like, so it's
right.
You know, all you did was you just put a cherry on top. Like,
made it unstoppable.
Cool. Yeah. But then outside of that, there was nothing else that you did that was like wowing. You know, you went to Brooklyn, that was a whole debacle. The only respect that I give you is that, I mean, you did put up a fight in that playoff series. You know what I'm saying? You was by yourself. Like I respect that. You know what I'm saying? If you had more of that, then we could put up an argument. But that's the only thing I can count.
With tasting it.
Yeah. OKC, in my opinion, there's nothing I can really say there, you know, respectfully. OKC Seattle, there's nothing I can really say there that was like, oh, you know,
he blew a lead.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know, and I didn't really hear what his rationale was. I mean, I guess he's going off of numbers, but I'm sorry, bro. Like it's more to that than
I think sometimes you get players, man, they start looking at their own athletic mortality, and I think that's what he might be looking at. Because as of right now, I don't even I don't think what I mean by that is I think he's starting to see that, you know, he doesn't have much longer to play, you know, in this case. And the ship has sailed because there was an opportunity where if he had won in Brooklyn, I think, you know, his stock would have grown a lot in that case, but it didn't. So he goes to Phoenix. Right now, you're more known for the guy who joined teams to
win,
to
win
case kind of, and it only worked out in Golden State. It didn't work in Brooklyn, and is not working at Phoenix, because even with him in Phoenix, they're not winning nothing in Phoenix. They're not winning a championship in Phoenix. They're not. They got some talented players, but they're not. And I think now, he's starting to look at, what am I going to be remembered as when I leave the game? He's going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame and stuff like that, and yada yada yada. But he's not going to be talked about when it comes up in that Jordan LeBron conversation, which to me is still disrespectful, because I don't know why it happens, and maybe because he's so much like him. People always forget Kobe in that conversation. I don't know why he gets
Kobe always gets disrespected.
I don't know why, man. I don't know why. But if you and maybe because his career kind of paralleled LeBron's, even though it was off by several years.
He had his own time period.
Yeah, he had his own time, but people, somehow he does. You have to really be a NBA fan to know that.
But once again, even on that Kobe sense, at least he can claim he was the greatest of his time.
Yeah.
And he'll say period. Yeah. And he's even said that when people talk about who's the GOAT, he was like, listen, I take from Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't be no me if it wasn't for him. Like, everything I am is because of him.
Right.
So you can't call me the GOAT when I take from him, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I look at LeBron.
What's a baby goat called? Can you call him a baby goat?
I don't know. Billy Goat? I don't know.
A goatee? I don't know what the hell you want to call it. I don't know.
When I look at LeBron, if I look at his totality, yeah, you could put him in the argument talk. Will he be compared to Jordan? Absolutely not. But there's other intangibles that I can say that
longevity alone,
I can give him GOAT talk status. Like, his longevity, and not even just the longevity, because it's not like, he's sitting on the bench like Udonis has him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then, like, no, he's a top player in the league. You know what I'm saying? At damn near 40 years old.
For the record, there will be no Udonis Haslam slander.
No, I ain't slandering Udonis. But and he could still go another 5 to 7 years if he wants. And the fact that he is really invested and kept his body and condition and like subpar, like there's tangibles for that. Like the stuff off of the field, off of the court. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I respect from LeBron. You know what I'm saying? That brings some his impact off of the court, his impact within the league. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
contracts
kind of
alone.
Yeah,
his impact on Beijing is crazy. Go ahead,
but then, the fact that he's a billionaire, he's an actual billionaire still playing the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like those are the other person I could think of that I can put in the GOAT talk. Again, I'm not comparing him to Jordan, and Jordan is always going to be here, but you could have the conversation. I would say Steph Curry, Steph Curry changed the game.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
He is the reason why kids are on a fast break, on a 3-on-1 fast break and pulling from the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was coming up, the coach will be ready to put hands on you and you're coming out of the game. You probably never play again. You know what I'm saying? Do some shit like that, you're coming out of the game.
You can argue, Earl. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can argue, even with LeBron in this case, Steph Curry has a bigger claim to the
I
conversation
agree.
than anybody else.
That's what I was getting at. And the reason being is because when we're just talking about the game, Steph impacted the game and affected the game way more than LeBron did, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did.
Like he made that 3-point relevant to the point where it was like, yo, you gotta do this. I mean, and to the point where like, yo, we've seen time and time again where Steph has, I mean, hit 6 threes, 7, 8 3, like, I mean, go off. And you're like, yo, what the fuck? Hitting bank shots from the old 3-point line or from the damn from the logo. Like he's a fact, and the ill thing that I love about him is that he's homegrown. And what I mean by that is that he wasn't looking to leave to get with this person and stuff like that. He had a chip on his shoulder. See the Knicks, then effed up that pick, but whatever. We ain't gonna go down there. But he stayed with his one team, and I respected GM because they build around young, and that's the same thing that was done in Chicago.
Well, I'll even go even a step further, Earl. We played basketball. We played basketball at some point, and we all felt, like we were the best ones on the court when we were playing amongst each other, whatever. Yeah, me and Dave played like a whole day at the time until we pulled his hamstring. That one time we was at that court. That was crazy. But
never felt like the best on the
court. Talking about Steph Curry though, man, he changed the game in the fact that he's the most relatable cat because he's 6'2", but he's closer to average height than LeBron at 6'9", 6'10". You see what I'm saying? Like you identify with Steph Curry. He like a regular ass dude, bro. Out there just playing ball. He like a regular ass person. Yeah, he shoots from the parking lot, but as to your point, that has been ingrained into these kids and everybody else doing the hell. They shouting out Curry or whatever, when they shoot up, back in the day when people used to, shout out Jordan and stuff like that when they were shooting. No one's ever shouted out LeBron.
Oh,
they shoot his hand and say KD.
Yeah, I don't know.
See what I'm saying?
And this is the last piece. The other thing that I can say that I don't think that there's another player in the league, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that had this tangible that Michael Jordan had. Almost not the same. It's not the same level, but I think people was like, oh shit, like people had a fear factor when they went up against Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
And I think the closest person to that, and it's still a large ass gap, is Steph Curry. Like I think it's a fear factor when you go because you gotta regard
half court.
And what makes him he's a gnat.
Yeah.
His engine is on 10. He keeps running. Is anybody that will tell you it is hard as shit to guard this man because he keeps moving the whole game. You know what I'm saying? And the thing with Jordan, it was like, I mean, the one thing that everybody says about Jordan, they say, yo, Jordan is cat quick and he's strong as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
He's better than Jordan at golf. Keep it going.
He is. And he only got 9 toes or 9.5 toes, really.
Who?
Jordan.
He got 9.5 toes.
You got to read the documentary, man. When he was a kid, he was cutting wood in the backyard. That's how much a Jordan fan I am. He cut off part of his toe. Got wood. Read the documentary, bro.
So he got a disability and he's kicking up like this?
That's just crazy.
He would have a 504.
You had to say kicking up, huh?
No, that's what you made mention of that. He would have a 504 if he was in this time.
Well, now he got a 501 because he got a half a toe.
Oh, Jesus.
This is Hot Seat, your boy Sean Earl Dave, episode 136.
Oh, Jesus.
Too, man. We got a big weekend coming up. It is the championship weekend, NFC, AFC, and it would not be the Hot Seat podcast if we did not, do do the thing that we do. If you guys been watching the football talk series all season, so we bet. You know what? Yep. So this Sunday at 9 a.m., we are back for a special football talk live championship special edition. Sunday at 9 a.m., streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We'll be previewing the AFC Championship game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Detroit Lions. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have our whole take on it, whatever maybe we talk about some betting stuff, but quickly, not going too far into it. What are you guys looking for out of this game? But I'll give you your picks. What are you looking forward to?
Look, I was having this conversation earlier with one of our people that all of us well know, Mr. Eric Van Hall. Yeah. And we were discussing just because, his team is still in it, the Ravens.
Absolutely.
And I said we were having a discussion to the fact that everywhere you look, there's a storyline. And that's what the beauty is of this playoff.
Right.
No matter how sick you get to Mahomes, this is honestly the most impressive run that I've seen in a long time in any sport.
Yeah.
To win with the team that he has together. I mean, Kelsey out there swifting, and he ain't got no wide receivers out there. It's very impressive the run that he's on right now. So whether you're a hater or not of him, you just got to respect what he's doing right now. On the flip side of that, the Ravens. I mean, even I didn't count them out this year, but I thought it would take them at least a year to get it together with all the nuances that are going on, everything that they were trying to put together.
Yeah.
But I thought they would be really good, and I knew that their defense would show up. Well, damn, forget me. I mean, one of their biggest offensive threats gets hurt, and I'm like, oh shit. You might as well mail this joint in, and they just got stronger.
Buddy.
I'm like, Lamar is on a drive where he is quieting every single naysayer known to man. So that's the storyline on that side. Yeah. You see where I went with it? Known to man that is out there. So we'll get into that talk on the Josh Allen side of things on Sunday.
Right.
On the other side of things, the storyline is there because, I mean, what better storyline is there than the Lions? Shout out to Gary. I know he'll be within the chats and help. Maybe he'll call in. But yeah, that Lions storyline is great. And I mean, think about it. What if the Lions ran away with it, and between Michigan winning the national championship and then the Lions win the Super Bowl, Michigan would be. But think about that. Michigan, a championship state. When the last time you ever
look, all of Eminem albums about to have streaming records as to the fact, boy.
He will release an album the next day because he couldn't come out the studio.
And that should still be fire.
So that right there is big. And then you got the 49ers with Mr. Irrelevant, and if they're able to make the run, it's something huge. So just the storylines is impressive to me. It's not the same old, even though you could look at the Mahomes thing as the same old, but no, not with this team. Yeah. So I don't know what y'all think. I know I kind of strung that out.
For me, man, like all the ones you said, of course, the Pat Mahomes one, the Lamar Jackson one is the one that I've been following for the longest time. That, like, to your point, a lot of people thought that this was going to be a 1 year, figure each other out. But if you watch Lamar through college, man, they tried to, they did the most basic thing. They said, well, let's get you a running, centric OC to do this here. And they kind of like played them in a way because they brought in a first year college coordinator, and I'll be damned, he can throw the ball and still do everything else. Smart crazy smart, but he does it in a way where it doesn't appeal to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He's not on the State Farm commercials and stuff like that. But one of the biggest storylines in this that's going to go probably under the radar is the Kyle Shanahan storyline, because this team is going to go and out, Debo aside, and he still may play. It's going to get to a point to where, and no, they're not going to break it up, but now you're looking at what happened in Atlanta, what happened the last couple of years in San Francisco. You can go down to Houston when he was there. Hell, even in Washington, Kyle Shanahan could go down as one of the best coaches, coordinators, and tacticians there is, and not win nothing.
That's very true.
I mean, he always has the best plans. You're like, man, look at he is the top guy in that pyramid. But who won a championship before him?
McVay.
Rams.
Mm-hmm.
They were all together. They won a championship before him. So I think that may be a really big storyline, and just the impatience of.
But he won that championship by pulling in who? A quarterback.
Yeah.
A quarterback.
But yeah, and that's something like sometimes you can't. You can't be the smartest person in the room. Sometimes he might be like, look, Brock Purdy's good, but I might have to go get me a Matt Stafford, to get me.
We'll get into it more on Sunday.
We'll talk about that. But yeah,
let's leave it as a cliffhanger.
Earl?
But hold on, Earl. But hands down, we'll leave it as a cliffhanger. But hands down, let's just be real. If they had a real quarterback, there'd be no questions about San Francisco right now.
Look,
so go ahead, Earl.
I'm gonna save it for Sunday because I got a name.
I mean, I told y'all.
I told
you. I mean, listen. I'm rooting for Lamar. He deserves it. He has too many unnecessary haters. If he wins, he's still going to have haters. But I'm just happy for him. If he needs to get over the hump. But what I really think is going to happen,
love that show,
is Patty Mahomes, aka the GOAT, is going to do what he does. I mean, again, like we was talking about last night when we was on the box. It was like he's not supposed to be here. He's doing this with no fucking receiver. Yeah, he's doing this with no receivers. You know what I'm saying? His rookie receiver is his leading receiver, which is crazy. Travis Kelce has been inconsistent all year, but he showed up when he needed to.
When he got rid of the tempo fade, that's when he got it inconsistent. I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead.
Super cleaner.
Yep. So I think Patty Mahomes is going to take it, but I'm excited.
By the way, I want you to make your comment so I can make my comment back to you, Earl. A certain person that I spoke to that I already mentioned said, fuck you on the fact that anything that you say about the Ravens, and don't big us up now because you were hating on us earlier. I ain't gonna tell you who that is.
First of all, I wasn't hating. I wasn't hating.
You went back to an exact football talk episode that you were hating on him. So
all right, well, you know what? I've always no. I've always said I rock with what's the name?
I'm just letting you know with this fan.
That's fine. That's fine.
Had a message for you today.
That's fine. That's fine. Just know that if they lose, I'm gonna be talking shit. So,
but if they win,
I'm gonna congratulate them.
Absolutely. Let's get into some video game corner, man. Yeah, ready. Let's go.
Video game corner.
So, we started this podcast based around our video game conversations over Xbox Live, man. And while we started off the show talking about Microsoft and everything else, but there are some exciting times ahead, video game wise. A big month for new releases in video games. One that's been talked about quite a bit is the
take your time.
I forgot the name of the game now. Like the Palo game or some shit. What's it called?
Pal World
Pal World game. There you go. So the Power game has been talked about. There's a lot of mod stuff on that there, but there's a lot of other games that's coming out this particular month. One that I started playing yesterday. Yesterday. And they added an additional portion to it. So it's like a Dragon Infinite Wealth edition. So it's the game that I started playing at first last night and going until today was the man who changed his last name. It's one of those games that comes like the if you ever play those Yakuza games and whatnot, the Japanese games where they has like the fighting in it, and then you have like the different tasks and stuff you do on it. The combat system reminds me a lot of the Arkham series, and then the story built into it, which I love. I was playing it today. But the Infinite Wealth series of that actually dropped today, which I actually downloaded, which was pretty dope. And a couple other ones you got a new for all of you guys fighting fans out there, Tekken 8, which is actually dropping tomorrow. So if you plan on, getting your thumbs right, doing some thumb gymnastics, Tekken 8 may be the one for you. Earl, why is it for? I'm just talking about video games, man. That's all I'm talking about. Right. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered came out on PlayStation 5 for all you guys, Sony guys. Right. But our biggest, even though we'll have a show before then, I think probably the biggest drop probably for this show is going to be the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League drop, which happens February 2nd, which is next week, which I've been highly anticipating that game. It's been pushed back several times. I've seen some of the gameplay. It's going to be dope. It's done by Rocksteady, the same folks who did the Arkham series. Yeah, man, that's what I'm excited about right now in the video game space, even with all the turmoil that's happening with Microsoft, man. But what are you guys playing right now? Where are you guys at in the whole video game world right now?
We're playing right now. We're playing COD. Which, you know what? Let's me and Dave will have to. I think he'll agree. We're gonna walk our statements back from Call of Duty because I don't know what's happened. Well, maybe you know what it was. It was the classes of guns that we had that we was like, it wasn't making it enjoyable. But once we started building up the classes, we like it. My only push is that I need them to get more boards on Invasion. Other than that, I give this Call of Duty thumbs up.
And go back to the old zombie setup.
Yes. Because zombies still the trash.
Gotcha.
I give them those two.
I got you.
All right. Wait, just came in loud.
Turn that down.
Yeah. I didn't even do nothing. That was Joe.
Yeah, that jumped up.
Loud,
I don't know what happened.
I know for me, first off, before I even go any further, I brag, so I also got to give props. So shout out to my man Earl. He has ran off 2 championships in a row.
Okay.
Since we last were on here talking in NBA 2K. You know what I mean? Has me sitting back going, okay, I got to reevaluate some things. My man Luka ain't Luka anymore. So, had to take him out the starting lineup. He gonna see some new things when he get back on there. But yeah,
it'll be today.
It's nice when we got the competitive juices going.
Yeah.
Secondly, we can jump away from the Power World thing because just to let y'all know, I haven't jumped into it yet, but it says Power World continues to blow past expectations, especially on Steam, collecting well over an estimated $216 million in revenue.
Yeah,
as it sells more than 8 million copies in less than 6 days. I mean, it's one of those things, sensation-wise, as far as video gaming. Last time I seen something like that, that's something that people just didn't really realize would go like that. I don't like Pokemon getting into accidents, walking across the street, trying to play Pokemon.
Right.
And I was like, what is going on? And then I got into it one day at work and I was like, oh, this is kind of this is some contagious shit. I had to stop playing because that joint was dangerous.
Oh man.
But that's the last time I seen something like this. So I haven't played it yet, but it's something catchy.
Something that I saw, and I don't know how to feel about this because I didn't like how they didn't finish the second season, I think it was. and that was One Punch Man. And Earl can identify with this. So they're doing a One Punch Man world that's coming out exclusively on PC, iOS, and Android. So it's a mobile game from what I could tell on PC. So I don't know how this is gonna go. If that's supposed to be a fighting aspect or something like that, but I don't know if I really want to rock with it. I'm gonna try it out. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's February 1st. It is an action game. I don't know. You probably hadn't seen that, Earl. I am a big fan of it. I know you are of the One Punch Man series.
Yeah.
But for them to do a game that comes out on just like PC and then the mobile,
Yeah,
thing,
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, even with because my favorite anime is Dragon Ball,
DBZ, yeah,
and I've seen a couple of games, and I'm just instead of just fighting person to person, make a storyline.
Right.
Like, mimic the storyline to the actual series. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets boring. That's why I'm not a fan of fighting games. Because it's like, yo, you fight Tekken, Street Fighter, all of that was cool, but it was for the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get tired after a while. Wrestling was cool because it had different events.
Yes.
Like, it was different matches and stuff like that. That's what turned that. But if you had a storyline, you like it. That's why we like basketball. That's why we like football, because even though you're playing the same game over and over, but what we really love is the season, the off season. That's big time. So,
well, we'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, I don't have any new information for the City Skylines aspect, even though I was anticipating it 2024 spring. So we'll see how that goes. My jubilation may go through the roof if that actually happens. But yeah, that's some video game corner.
Come on, jubilation.
Oh my god!
I was about to say, you ain't had a big word all episode, bro.
It's the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Episode 136. We had a not so breaking news today at all.
I didn't have one specifically. I know one thing. More than a not so breaking news, I want to give a shout out, especially off of what Earl just said about the wrestling games. Well, this ain't no game here. Big shout out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
Who just joined the board of UFC and WWE
TKO, I believe
merger-wise, TKO group. Yep. Not only that, through that, he also trademarked now his name as far as The Rock.
Yes.
I never thought I would get to a day, because I grew up on watching wrestling and things like that. Old school wrestling. I'm talking WWF, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Bushwhackers, all them. But I never thought I would get to the day that I would say to y'all right now, honestly, I've never seen a bigger star out of wrestling than The Rock. Hulk Hogan was my guy. I had to figure, bro. I mean, that shit was damn near life size.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then I realized after I ripped the shirt off one time, I didn't have another shirt to put back on the motherfucker. And I was like, shit, this is fucked up. So it didn't come with multiple shirts. But that, that's neither here nor there. But that was the biggest star for wrestling for me growing up. When Hulk did this and went out to the crowd, I would go insane. I'm talking about bananas. When he slammed Andre the Giant, insane, bruh. I can remember it like it was yesterday. But with this is where we were talking about how you bolster yourself even outside of what you're supposed to be known for, like with the LeBron status of things. The Rock is there, man. I mean, everything from the movie star side of things to the storyline of always wanted to be a football player, then got the injury, wasn't able to do that. Now you're running basically a football league. I mean, think about that. For people to get a chance into the big times that you weren't able to get, just the status he's on is just something that's amazing.
You talk about a GOAT.
So
that
hustle's real.
That's a GOAT for you right now. I think a lot of people if you talk about like a wrestling GOAT, and that's a whole different conversation. You talk about your Hulk Hogan, you talk about your Ric Flairs.
Yep.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has to be considered one of, if not the GOAT, just from the way that he came into this thing, the impact that he continues to have. He showed up
and ran with it.
He's a business man.
Yo, WWE at the time it was WWF. WWE SmackDown was created off of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He had his own joint. They took it from Monday to Thursday and was SmackDown based off of the energy and the catchphrases of him. And he showed up on, I believe, Raw, might have been SmackDown the other couple of weeks ago. And you're talking about, they call it in the wrestling world a pop when a wrestler comes out and the way the audience reacts. Man, listen, you can hear it through the TV, bro. Crazy. Yeah. And then between that and then his business acumen, like you said, now it's the United Football League. First it was the XFL that they bought. Of course, Terramana, which I've been, I shout them guys out all the time. And then you got everything, from his movies to, man, it got to the point that they legit, this is not even like some old ploy, they legit asked him, was he going to run for president?
Run for president, yeah.
This is why
it's a real talk.
And from everything we see, man, solid dude, bro. Just a solid dude, humble. Doesn't mind sharing the story, man. Solid dude.
As big as he is in the world, he's one of the most humble people that I sit back and if you have an interview with him, you're like, damn, I can just kick it with this dude.
Solid dude, man.
Let's try to get him on the show, man. Let's try to get him on the show.
Shit. The Pivot barely got him on the show. So if he make it here, we just fuck. Look, let's go ahead and we doing something. But it was dope to see, man. To your point. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. Again, hey, I don't know. We might have to become some fanboys or something, get him on the show or something like that. I don't know. Show a little leg or something. I don't know. And of course, man, this podcast wouldn't be what it is if we hadn't taken our Xbox Live conversation from that world and bring it over to the podcast space now almost 4 years ago, man. So we were talking about some video games before, so you can find us. Me rather on Xbox Live. Sanaa 2X. Earl, I need you to play your game so we can move the game for. We'll move it.
I told you last night you can move that shit.
We can move it. That's craziness. Shout out to Madden for all these updates they've done. It's been great.
Yes,
it's been wonderful.
Yes,
it has been wonderful. I'm mad y'all waited to the end of the season.
That restructure.
You know what though? After I thought about it, you know why I think they're doing all this?
Because NCAA coming out.
Football
man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You got to make sure you make that playability a thing. Replayability.
Stupid.
Absolutely. So Sanaa 2X, man, find me there. Again, couple of games, still playing Forza. They keep adding stuff to that game. Like if you like a particular game, it's got to a point now that games release within a timeline, but the additional, I like to see that they're continuing to add to these games. I think you guys agree that you guys are talking about Call of Duty. They continue to improve it. I like that. I don't like games that they just drop and like, oh, well. So Forza, they keep adding tracks. You guys are talking about Call of Duty. Madden, we were just talking about that as well. I just saw the new, some new downloadable content for the new Suicide Squad that has a Joker with it. It's going to be I'm excited for video games these next few months. So we back at it again. I know I was off for a little bit with the sticks, but we good to go, man. So not 2X, man. What you got, Earl?
NJFAP1973.
What you got, Dave?
Havoc 973. Wow.
Hey, the storyteller. We already had our video game chat, so I'm gonna shout out.
I get another one.
Player. You know what I mean? We're gonna get this going.
Yes.
Expect a holler from the Hot Seat Podcast. Very comfortable chair, able to put the feet up, able to sit back and lounge back or go.
That's the same chair he's been. That's the same chair he's been losing it.
Show it one more time. Show it one more time, Dave. I gotta make sure they get it into the shot. Show it one more time. Show the chair one more time.
That's how we go.
I can't see it. I can't show the chair one more time. I need to see the chair. There we go.
There right there, man. Yeah, I mean, even got the footrest on the joint. Don't worry about what Earl says, man. My son make it this year. My son make it this year. Yeah.
Did he even know that chair is for him?
Yep. and he watched me sit in it every single day. Every
Well,
single day.
he
Come
can't-
down. He come
can't
down
say
and he'd
that.
be like, "Dad, you sitting in my chair again?" I'm like, "Huh?" And everybody knows what I do. Huh? What'd you say? Did you say something?
Man. Yeah, he can't
Oh.
say that right now.
I thought you said
fucked
something.
up. He can't say that right now. I get it. I understand. I get it. I get it.
Oh man. Be on
I
the
might put
lookout,
it right
man.
outside
For,
his room and sit in it.
Yeah, you're horrible. Yeah.
be on the lookout, man, for new content from the exclusive The Hot Seat Podcast Plus subscription. So this year, we're doing, of course, we do our NFL draft watchcast. So this year, when we do it, this coming April, you'll be able to watch the NFL draft watchcast, but you're going to have to be a Hot Seat Podcast Plus member. More things to come. More things to come. It's going to be an exciting time, as well as some new merch on the way. Shall I show it now? Shall I show it now? Or shall I wait? No.
I mean, do it.
Yes. So the first set of Hot Seat Podcast merch coming out, man, with our tagline, Dads with Mics, Gamers with Headsets, Unfiltered Conversation, coming in black, coming in gray. We will have these guys in a few weeks. So as this weather, continues to turn and it gets warmer, you can put on a dope, nice, smooth cotton Hot Seat Podcast tee. So more information from that as well, man. So
I'm trying to have it from Mexico.
In year for yeah.
So we got for Mexico.
Absolutely. What else we got? Anything else?
That's it.
Nah, Earl about to go to sleep, so we gotta.
No, I'm trying to get on what's the name? I mean,
He's
trying to get on the box so he can go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you guys listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or your favorite shows, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Yo, it's the Hot Seat, man. We out.
The Hot Seat.